I believe that all of us, and myself included, Dan, this is part of the reason that I wanted to do a little bit of digging on this. I actually think that we're behind the trend. And I think we're severely behind the trend on the way that we talk about quarterbacking in the NFL in 2022. We still talk about it through the lens of the traditional pocket passer.
And the efficiency of the pocket passer.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on that.
That's the easiest way towards a win. But I think that the league is telling us something different by the choices that are made at the quarterback position. So I've got a list of all of the current quarterbacks, okay? And I'm going to give you their name, and you tell me if they're traditional or modern, meaning mobile.
See, there's because there's a generational aspect to this because of the wave of recent retirements and because of so many guys who coincidentally played so long with Rivers and Roethlisberger, and now what we're seeing with Brady and Ryan and some of these guys. When this generational turnover works its way through. All right, okay.
You ready?
So you're only giving me two buckets here.
Yeah, is this person basically a pocket passer?
A traditional?
Or is this person someone that their legs are a weapon?
Okay.
All right, so traditional or modern? Okay. Josh Allen.
Modern.
Zach Wilson.
I haven't watched a lot of him. I'll say grade incomplete. I just haven't watched enough of him. I would probably say
I would go with modern
if I had to
because of his college background.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
Okay.
It's totally. This is Tua.
Traditional.
Mac Jones.
Traditional.
So that's 2 of the 4 in the AFC East. Okay. AFC North. Lamar.
Modern.
Burrow. Strangely enough,
I would, I think I'm going to go because of how he's being used at the moment. Traditional.
Okay. With the Browns, you have a pick because Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback right now, but we know that it will be Deshaun.
Can be deployed either, I think, but some of his usage has been, I would say, leans traditional.
Kenny Pickett.
Incomplete.
Probably modern.
Okay.
Tannehill or Malik Willis. Modern. Ellinger.
Modern.
Trevor Lawrence.
Modern.
Davis Mills.
Traditional.
Patrick Mahomes.
Modern.
Justin Herbert.
Traditional.
Russell Wilson.
Modern.
David Carr.
Traditional.
Kirk Cousins.
Traditional.
Aaron Rodgers.
Traditional, but with an asterisk.
Leaning modern.
Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Modern.
Jared Goff.
Traditional.
Jalen Hurts.
Modern. Dak
Prescott.
Traditional.
I think I lean more modern, but okay.
He does a lot of it's not complicated passer stuff. I don't know they get him on the boundary as much as he's.
They did last week.
Yeah, that's because they could. Okay. I think either one could be right.
Daniel Jones.
Modern.
Carson Wentz.
Bad,
but also
modern.
Marcus Mariota.
Modern.
Tom Brady.
Traditional.
Jameis.
Traditional.
PJ Walker.
Again, incomplete, but so far modern.
Geno Smith.
Modern.
Jimmy G.
Traditional.
Matthew Stafford. He's the poster child for traditional.
Yes, even though he does things
he does RPO stuff in a
quirky
he's
fashion.
Never ever running.
Right, he's running the same plays, but he's making different choices, making traditional choices in modern plays, I should say.
Kyler Murray,
modern.
So if we tally that up,
yeah,
the NFL itself, I think is moving towards this. Now, I think that Fields is a bit, I wouldn't say he's a unicorn because there is a Josh Allen out there, but his side speed ratio makes him, it puts him in the upper percentile of the guys that are playing the modern game. That's why I wanted to ask Matt Bowen the question yesterday about using this portion of Fields' ability and getting him out on the run, and whether that leads to him being in more danger because of the style that he plays in.
I think if we went back, Lawrence, and looked at the tape of all of Justin's design quarterback carries this year and how many violent hits he took, I think that number would be very low. Where Justin gets hit is in the pocket. Okay, and that's where a lot of injuries happen to quarterbacks, especially in blindside protection. When you get hit or you get rolled up in the pocket or you step up to throw and there's a defender at your feet. But when you're in the open field, you are in control as a ball carrier. You can slide, you can get down, you can get out of bounds. And there's certain situations where you're trying to pick up the sticks on third down or in that low red zone area of the field where you are going to drop your pad level. But I think it really comes down to Justin and what he wants to be as a ball carrier based on down additions and game situation, because I've always said quarterback design runs, especially in the National Football League, these quarterbacks are so protected. They are beyond protected. And especially when you're a runner, if you get down, if you start to get down, if I'm a defensive player, I'm going to pull back a little bit. I have to. One, I don't want to get a fine. Okay, I don't want to get an envelope from the NFL office on Tuesday morning up at Haugh or wherever I'm playing. But also, you understand that you're not allowed to drive down and use the crown of your helmet against a quarterback. So I think they are protected to an extent where you can use those quarterback runs and still protect your quarterback.
And that's why I followed it up with my question about, does he see the bones of a real offense in here? And he answered positively. He said, this isn't gimmickry.
Right. And I think that that's often when we, media fans, over the last 20 years have talked about the quarterback who runs, and we label them as a running quarterback. I think that we haven't been quite fair to those quarterbacks, that now even NFL coaches are saying, why should we, if we do have a guy that has that skill, if we've got someone that is capable of running the ball, why should we limit that growth?
And it's also the way that they're doing it, where I come from the old school, and I do. And I was the same guy who was decrying how collegiate NFL offenses had become, and how it was
when they started with spread stuff,
and I said, what is with this garbage, razzle dazzle garbage? And I was there with Gunther Cunningham because it didn't look like pro offense. You didn't have everybody lined up tight. You didn't have your flanker and your X and your pro set or your offset eye and all this pistol garbage. But it's changed in large part because of the sizes and speeds of the people doing it, because of changes to the rules, because of a better understanding of the use of space schematically, where it used to be in a true option offense, that whole collegiate run the option, your quarterback would absorb a hit on every play, with the ball or without the ball. Whenever in that mesh point, you are a big, strong linebacker with a head of steam is blowing up your quarterback. That's not the way these offenses are being run. And it's not the way the game is being called. And it always used to be that linebacker is just going to be a mismatch.
Not anymore.
They're not mismatches anymore.
Not anymore. And that's partially because of the changes in offense. It's a great book. Forget the name of the author, but the book is called Hybrids. And it's about how defenses have had to get faster. So they're finding
and a little
these
smaller.
Right. They're finding these defenders that are a little bit smaller than what you saw before. Like finding a guy like Brian Urlacher. Now that guy is a unicorn. You're 6'4", 250 can run like that's ridiculous. If you built that in a lab, someone would go,
"Let's Chase Claypool."
Well, 6'4", 238 with him. That guy plays receiver. He doesn't play linebacker. You know what I mean? So finding that guy is difficult. So people have found like, all right, we do have kind of a souped up safety playing outside linebacker or maybe even middle linebacker these days, where if Justin Fields is out on the edge now, he can look at that guy and go, I can run that guy over. I don't have to run away from him. I don't have to scurry to the sideline. If I want, I can take that defender on as if that defender was wearing a 20 number on his back. So I think that NFL offenses and NFL coaches have found something, and it's changing the way that we should talk about the quarterback position. I still think that you can. It's better if you're able to get the ball out quickly, and then you have the additional weapon of being someone who's fast and a good runner and knows how to run. But it seems to me that even in the way that the high school offenses have now made it all the way up, and now we've got a generation or two generation of players that were like that. Kyler Murray's tape from high school looks amazing. He shouldn't be able to do what he's done in the NFL. I still don't fully believe that he's going to be able to do it. But what that means is that we also have to take out of our heads the idea of a franchise quarterback being with your team for a decade. Throw that away too. Like the idealized version of your franchise quarterback. Well, he's been here for 12 years. Probably not, because that eventually there is a cumulative effect, but it's not as acute as it was. Like, you don't have to look at it and go, well, Justin Fields is going to get his ribs broken and he's going to be out every single year.
No, it might look like Russell Wilson now as opposed to Russell Wilson 6 years ago.
Right. And so all of that, like, as the game is changing and evolving, I think that we need to change and evolve with it too on the way that we discuss it. And I'm so fascinated by how do you take these quarterbacks and get the most out of them? And are there quarterbacking prospects that have failed because a coach didn't recognize that until they get up to speed?
Geno Smith.
Well, I mean, he's like the poster child for that now, where you have a guy that's just kind of been around for a decade, and there were a lot of people that thought he was going to be really good, and his career gets derailed because of weird stuff, like the place he was playing, getting punched in the face by a teammate, like all sorts of stuff. He finds his way, he learns his craft, and now they're in first place, right? Aren't they a first place team in the NFC West right now? So that's what I was thinking while I was watching last night. I'm watching Jalen Hurts and I'm going, man, he seems in real command and control of the passing game, but that extra element that he provides really does a number on the opposition. And the idea of keeping him healthy, like those types of guys that they end up less healthy than traditional quarterbacks. Well, look at the injury that Peyton Manning suffered. Tom Brady is an outlier. Like, he's an outlier to all of this. And just realize that maybe the change in how we think of quarterbacks and how long they play the position, that's where the change is. Mm-hmm. And seeing Justin Fields be able to grow as a football player, and then maybe he gets a little bit more time than he would 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, because he can be productive even without what we traditionally think quarterbacking is.
I think that is a long-range observation that we should all try to work toward. It's not going to be easy. Like, we have well-worn aesthetics. And when we immediately go and look at stats to say, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Working in next-gen numbers, working in how quickly is someone getting to an important place, and what is a performance over expectation, and speaking in the language of some of the next-gen and PFF stuff, I think is really important. It's hard because all we have are these blunt tools to measure quarterbacking effectiveness.
For sure.
And passer efficiency rating is one of them. It's almost ridiculous. It's not quite the pitching win. Not quite, but it's getting there as far as an antiquated status.
And QBR does a better job of adding in some of the value that might come from a running quarterback. But some of it is, and this is going to sound antithetical to what we were just talking about, some of it is actually the eye test. You're watching Justin Fields be effective. He doesn't need 200 passing yards right now for the Bears offense to be effective. You've seen some of his best games be right there on that border, where one of the ways that people would judge quarterbacks is, well, how many 300-yard passing games does he have? I don't care. If Justin Fields is giving me 225 really good yards with a bunch of chunk plays, whether it's arm or leg, why does it matter? If you're able to keep a defense off balance and you're able to score, you're finishing those drives, you're extending drives because you're picking up third downs. The danger for me, and where you see it on display, is you still need to make sure that your offensive line can protect that guy when he is in the pocket. Most of the devastating hits to quarterbacks happen in the pocket. Mm-hmm. And they happen because someone missed an assignment. They happen because someone got bull rushed into a quarterback.
That's the other thing I have to do is also work to get over my essential fear of football injuries.
All of us have to. Because the fear is in a good place, Dan. You don't want to see great players not play.
That's how the rules are made.
You don't want to see Justin Fields miss a month of games because of what we kind of thought was the way that he would put himself in danger. Lamar hasn't missed a ton of time, being that guy, being the avatar for where this league is moving towards. He hasn't missed a ton of time. Now, he changed his body a little bit, a little bulkier now up top to absorb some of that stuff more. But it's not like he's out here missing seasons. And so I hope the same can be true for Justin Fields. It's just something I was thinking about, like you start looking around and looking at these quarterbacks, like you have Rodgers as traditional. I don't. I would have said he's modern.
He doesn't run enough.
To me, he's the prototype for the modern, and then it's been expanded upon.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't run enough.
You're right.
He runs to throw. He runs to create angles in the passing game.
Now, previously, I think that there was a little bit more of him winning from outside of the pocket than in the pocket. But to me, it's like, oh, wait, quarterbacks can do all of this kind of fun stuff? Well, what if we then built a quarterback that kind of looked like Aaron Rodgers, but with an extra 30 pounds on him? And then you get Justin Fields.
And then we start looking at this year's collegiate crop and how we're scouting some of these guys. Is Justin Fields going to be the guy who blows up the Ohio State quarterback narrative?
Right. And how does that change how you scout defensive players? What's the counter? Because if you're going to have a lot of these defenses, they're not going to do it on every down. But if you're playing against Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson,
Josh Allen,
good luck. The Josh Allen thing to me is impossible. Like, he's Frankenstein's monster. Like,
he's got a Dan Marino level arm and release, like a Jeff George arm, and he's built like Roethlisberger.
He to me
but can run.
He's like football Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is a wrestler.
I know who Brock Lesnar. He tried to be a football player.
He did, and he did not succeed. But he's one of those guys that, like, he's looking to hurt you. Like, if you want to come up and tackle Josh Allen, good luck, because he is going to lower his shoulder pad and he's going to try to go through you. And the fact that he can go through you, around you, or past you is impossible, along with having a cannon of an arm. It's like the quarterbacks like just keep getting better. Like, that you keep looking at him, you going, oh wait, Patrick Mahomes. Wow, that's interesting. Look at all of those things that oh my God, what is that? Oh, that's Josh Allen. What does he do?
How do I stop him?
You don't. Like, you better have a Patrick Mahomes on the other side that can match him.
Or it's like you have to get out the like tire puncturing spikes that the cops would use for a chase. Yeah, get in front of him and just throw those out there.
Well, I hope that what we see with Josh Fields, like, and this is just theoretical. Like, I'm just throwing, like, I'm honestly just like writing stuff down while I'm watching the game, and I'm going, how many of these guys are there out there? And there are a lot of them, and a lot of coaches have decided this is I give John Harbaugh a lot of credit. A lot of credit.
So I can figure this out. I can do this.
Look at this dude's tape. Let's figure out a way to make it work. Okay, let's go find the offensive coordinator who worked with Colin Kaepernick, and because this guy's more talented, and let's make it work. I love that. That's what coaching is supposed to be.